Hello and welcome to MorningFile. I'm your host, Emma McCarty, and today I am speaking with Lisa Zarzeczny about the McMaster Student Union and Think 2030 collaboration. So first of all, do you want to maybe just give a brief background on Think 2030, what it is?
Yeah, I'd love to, and thanks for having me on, Emma. It's great to be here. So Think 2030 is an initiative that's being powered by Elevate. We're doing it in partnership with the United Nations to drive awareness towards their 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So it's a 3-day virtual summit where we're going to focus on 3 different issues. So focused on around equality and equity, around sustainability and climate change, and then around wellness and well-being.
Yeah, so my next question is going to kind of be, I know there's different running themes each year, and you kind of just talked about the 3 pillars there. Could you get a little bit more into detail about how that was decided upon and what those themes will look like?
Yeah, of course. I mean, over the past 18 months, coming out of both the pandemic, but also the social justice movement after the murder of George Floyd, there's been nothing on our minds but these topics. Equality and equity, Indigenous truth and reconciliation is top of mind for everyone right now, and especially how that affects Canadians and what that means in a Canadian context. And then of the other, a huge issue of our time, of course, is climate change and climate action, specifically with the report that was issued by the IPCC recently, and seeing some of the findings come out of that. I think we've all expedited what needs to be done for there to be a 2030. And so that was, top of mind for the organizers and the programmers of what we really wanted to address and tackle as part of this year's summit. And then the third one was really around mental health and well-being, which has been something that we've seen as a large result of the pandemic, of people really bringing this to the forefront of saying, how have people been reacting and coping and responding to the pandemic, and what have we seen as a result of that? So we really felt that these 3 issues were, dominating the landscape today and need to be addressed.
Yeah, definitely some big and diverse topics though, but that definitely need discussion. So the Think 2030 Summit will be in collaboration with the McMaster Students Union. Can you kind of talk a little bit about this collaboration, how that came to be?
Yeah, of course. So, as part of this initiative, one of the things we're doing is reaching out to a number of universities and colleges across Canada, because we want to make sure that this event is accessible and inclusive, to make sure that there's diverse people around the table having these conversations. And so this partnership with McMaster, we want to offer free tickets to all of students that are currently enrolled in McMaster, and make sure that your students can attend and access different pieces of the virtual summit. What I will also say is, even if you can't tune in for the 3 days, pick the sessions that are relevant to you. And you'll also have an opportunity, if you register, all of the content is going to be accessible for the next 30 days on demand. So you can always go back in and watch or rewatch any of the sessions that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we'll have the link for that below this video for anybody who's watching and wants to check it out.
Awesome.
So then diving into the summit a little bit more, what events and what speakers can people expect to see?
Yeah, that's great. So we've got some incredible speakers that I'm very much looking forward to. For the first day, which is kind of Tuesday, October 12th, which is focused on equality and equity. We've got keynote speaker, Indigenous and pop culture representative Jessie Wente, who's going to be delivering a keynote on truth and reconciliation and what that means from a Canadian landscape. And then that evening's keynote, which I'm super excited about, is going to be with Emmanuel Acho, who's the host of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. So he's going to be in talks with Tyrone Edwards of eTalk. So really excited about that day. For the next day, October 13th, which is Think Sustainability, we're kicking off the day with Dr. Jane Goodall, who's going to be talking about why we should be hopeful during this time and what are some reasons that are keeping her hopeful right now. And then we're going to be closing that day with a keynote from astronaut and commander Chris Hadfield, who's going to be talking about sustainability from a broader landscape, looking from outside of Earth and beyond and what that means. And then finally, on the Wellbeing Day, wrapping us up, we have an incredible conversation with Jamila Jamil around body positivity and how we can actually be more inclusive towards people and create a more inclusive landscape, specifically within the realm of social media, of what people are putting out there and how they're responding to it. So we've got a ton of great speakers lined up through the day, from anything from keynote sessions to debates to more in-depth workshops as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you have just a stacked list of speakers. Definitely a lot of events I'd like to tune into. So obviously you have such a range of topics that are being covered and discussions that will be occurring. But if there is maybe one thing that a student can take away from this week, what would you hope that they walk away knowing?
I hope that students can walk away armed and equipped with more resources on what can be done about this. The whole idea with Think 2030 is that it's not just an opportunity to talk about these issues, but we've asked each of our speakers and throughout each of our workshops for them to provide tangible takeaways of what we can be doing in our own personal life, as well as, professional life. What can employees at companies be doing? What can companies themselves be doing to make sure that we can move the needle in a big way on some of these issues? So I do hope that kind of everyone is able to walk away with one or two things that they didn't know before of how they can change their own actions in their own life so that we can make it to 2030.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like with some of these topics, it's such a like a black hole of just, you can keep discussing, but you're not exactly sure how to fix the problem, but creating tangible solutions and learning about tangible solutions is so important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So then my last question for you then is, where can people go to learn more and access the event?
Great question. And it's super easy, think2030.com. All of the event information is there. That's also where you can register. Registering as a student is completely free. And as I mentioned, we'll give you access both to the 3-day event, which is October 12th to 14th, but then access to all of the on-demand sessions after that.
Thank you so much to Lisa for discussing the partnership with the McMaster Student Union and Think 2030 with me. For more information about the event, you can click the link below. And as always, for more content like this, you can visit cfmu.ca.